Hello everybody, welcome back to EK-AIO and today's topics that are on schedule. Right here with me, I have now Sandi as a head of enterprise business unit and Rok Dolinar as lead R&D engineer in EK. And right now we are going to talk about FluidWorks. FluidWorks is actually something new regarding in EK at all. So maybe Sandi, first question, why did even EK decided to go to FluidWorks and of course workstations at the end?
Yeah, thanks Jakob for the question. Hi guys. I would say that basically it was a kind of easy decision, but really not something that it was a logical step for us. For instance, we have a lot of experience, like we talk about, I would say 14 years with cooling. Then we switched to in the custom loop cooling, and then parallelly we were just developing and also launching the professional series of I would say water block, which is there is no RGB and nothing, so the reliability and performance is our top priority in this one. And basically then parallelly, you know, that we are also having our fluid gaming series when we basically made a first step into the system building. So we proved ourselves that we are able to do a proper thing. And of course, logical step is workstation. The step itself basically wasn't easy, and it didn't start at, the decision wasn't made a month or two ago. So we are working almost 2 years now. And we didn't want to just push it out, something that's not tested, something that's not, I would say, you have seen the workstation, first one also on the Computex in last year, and basically we have first, I would say, workstation shown working prototype on the CS, and basically now we can say that we are ready with the everything that we are ready to launch the workstation.
Yeah, so if we would say maybe in a short sentence, who is it actually for? Who are the target customers for those?
Basically, you will see, we'll talk later about the portfolio itself. We have 3 different series, and within these 3 series we have variety of portfolio configurations that are basically for the certain I would say target audience or target user. But of course you have the one that they have really demanding computing power. There are also I would say like rendering, AI, deep learning machines, so everything that needs compute power, and basically that. But like I told you, it's basically upon I would say the configuration itself, it's up to customer to decide. So we are basically covering everything, all professional users.
Exactly. So maybe Rok, because you are a part of an enterprise team and development, how long did actually all this process take, and what were actually the obstacles during this development stage of the workstations?
This project, what we're seeing here is 3 years of work, about 3 years, because we wanted to build a workstation and didn't have the right components. Let's say the focus on reliability and is so high, so that we had to build up a new environment, new portfolio of products. So this what we are showing here goes along with Pro lineup really nicely. So we built about 5 workstations, different models of workstation for now, and learned a lot. And this is all that we know, you can see here. So
yeah,
I must say, I can just add to Rok, basically, you know, like everybody knows us that we are basically expert in cooling, but to make a machine like this happen, it's not just putting together something off the shelves. It has to be purposely developed, tested, of course, because you know we are talking about professional users. You don't gamble with professional users, and basically everything has to be tested. Machines are not, you know, the customers spend a lot of money and they expect a lot from the machine themselves. So we didn't we weren't able to make it alone. So basically what we did here, we partnered with a company called Xenowolf, which is well known it's LA-based, Los Angeles-based company, and well known for the workstation building workstations already, and all the knowledge about the right configuration, because you have to have that, and basically, and then together we really made, even though with them we really were, let's say, more than 1.5 year basic intensive work on the workstation itself, with the configuration, everything, testing, and so without them it would be harder, but or maybe it took even longer, and we would have to learn a lot from the field, which we don't want to. So we had to make that step to partner with someone that knows what's doing.
At the end, a lot of effort actually has to be put into this, because at the end the user is a professional and wants to unleash all the power of the hardware. Right. And maybe speaking of the, let's say, the hardware and everything on the parts, at the end, usually users, or let's say enterprises that need those machines, they actually calculate the costs. And talking about, let's say, total cost of ownership. So let's say, are FluidWorks more advanced, for example, relating to renting cloud solutions, or actually buying like this one? So
I can, basically that's really good question, and also what I mentioned in the keynote, and a lot of research has been done on the total cost of ownership and what makes sense. Should I buy a workstation? Should I spend money for the workstation, or should I rent it? And basically, really interesting findings that basically when you rent, but you have to compare the same hardware. For instance, when you use the same hardware, and if you use it for 4 months, I think the break-even point is 4 months. It already pays off the investment in the desktop workstation. Mm-hmm. And there are a few things, but you have to know that it has to be combined with the support and everything. So if something goes wrong, we're offering the same thing, then I would say cloud service would use it, would offer it. So it's a customer. And one thing you have on demand, when you have a desktop workstation, you have power on demand. Basically, no bandwidth issues, no, I would say, internet or whatever issues. You have it on the desktop, you switch it on, you run it. Okay, maybe I said it wrong, switch it on. Usually this machine runs 24/7, so you don't have to switch it off at all. But anyway, I would say 4 months, it's the break even. So if you are basically just needing once or twice, rent it. But if you want to use it throughout the year constantly, buy it. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. It makes no sense to rent it.
It's a no-brainer.
It's no-brainer at all, yeah.
Okay, and maybe just looking at this build, for example, that's a lot of things inside, and are those builds actually plug-and-play solutions, or actually what options do you have at the end for this, for example?
Yeah, we plan to offer, let's say, plug-and-play machines. The hardware and software is, you can choose hardware and software individually. We can tailor it to your demands. So basically, you just buy it, plug it, load additional software that you need. Let's say operating system is pre-installed according to your wishes, and that's it.
I just want to add about the operating system itself. So yeah, of course, it's plug and play, but you will be able to choose either with or without operating system. What we want, the main focus is we don't want to make this proprietary. So software is completely open. You can have it either without operating system or with Ubuntu, Linux, or even Windows, whatever. So of course that you will get, but you will have to load. So it's not it will run, but you need the software that you are using at the end. Exactly. So we don't want to lock customers. Software-wise, everything basically it's open, and also of course we are offering the upgradability options that we also can talk about it.
Exactly. So when we're talking right now about the details, so what about the portfolio of the FluidWorks? How many options? What's the upgradability? Everything. So what are the options that?
Yeah, basically we have 3 series. All 3 series are here. So, but within these 3 series, you have a certain configurability. So basically, the machine behind me is the Series 3000. Currently is, I would say, the code name. I think this should be also final. So, but currently is Series 3000, which is meant for the user that are not it's a professional workstation. With main purpose, you still get a professional workstation with the you don't have, if you don't plan to upgrade it later. If basically you want to be a little bit on the budget, and you say, okay, I want to just leave it there and use it. This is the station. This is the workstation that I would recommend to use. In this 3000 series, we'll have the four configuration basically, and you have two AMD and two Intel versions, and two versions of the GPU to use, either 2080 Ti from NVIDIA or either AMD 5700X. And it will not be possible to upgrade. So you have two GPUs in each configuration, and that's it. There's a reason. We don't want to really confuse. If you don't want to do anything with it, thinking about it, and you don't are really not a really, I would say, high demanding customer, and basically you really want to be on a budget, that's the workstation series that you go to, and you can upgrade the RAM from 64 to 128. Then we move to the 5000 series, when basically it's our goal to, this is our biggest, I would say configuration portfolio, I would say the series that we offer, the station just sitting by you, Jaka. So basically here we have the, okay, I just wanted to say in the 30,000 series we will have the, from the AMD 3950X Ryzen and on the Core i9 Intel version. So when you switch to the 5000 series, we will go on the AMD to Threadripper CPU and on the Intel to Intel Xeon W series. But it's not just that. When you switch to 5000 series, then basically you have options that you start from count of GPU to 2 and up to 4 when you're purchasing GPU, or even you decide now I want to have 2, and after that you just order. Then in 6 months you see if I need additional computing power, I would add additional GPU. You just order pre-assembled, pre-filled GPU with quick disconnect, plug it in the system, and run it. So we are offering full upgradability, up to 4 GPUs. And when you're talking about the GPU, which you can choose from, you go from 2080 Ti, and you go then RTX 6000 to 8000 series. What we will also offering in the 5000 series is when you're choosing the 6000 and on series GPUs, because these are the higher tier GPUs, we will also offering the custom chassis that we're offering in the 7000 series. So that's for the 5000 series. Of course, then it's our, I would say, the heavyweight champion workstation, which is our 7000 series, when basically we will be offering on the Intel dual Xeon scalable CPUs, and on the AMD, of course, EPIC. From the GPU count, you can go from 2 to 7 on the EPIC GPUs. This is the exact configuration that you have it here. And from the Intel system, because of the PCIe lanes limitation, we go up to 5. The main thing I want to say that when you talk about portfolio, everything that you will choose, no matter which one you choose, we make sure that the utilization of the GPUs will be 100%. So anytime that you are demanding the full utilization, you will have it. You will get it. So we didn't want to offer something more, which makes no sense. So with the configuration, I can only say we did our homework in the configuration. So customer can basically whatever they get, they can get maximum out of it. So that's what's the goal of
the best optimized options.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, maybe if we talked a little bit about the portfolio, what about the components of the water cooling? What materials is used inside of those stations?
Okay, I can show you, let's say, on this case of GPU. So we've chosen aluminum loop. Basically, after testing and everything, we found that aluminum loop is more reliable because we wanted to get closer to car industry with components and chosen materials. So if you look at the radiator, it's aluminum. The car industry is basically just using just aluminum. We went with ZMT tubing, which is rubber, EPDM rubber tubing, let's say proven. We are using it for almost 15 years since EK started. And I would mention QDCs also, quick disconnect couplings. We partnered with CPC, Colder Products, and they really struggled and delivered those completely new QDCs made out of really military-grade composite, and they're really reliable. We didn't want to make compromises here. We wanted to make experience of, let's say, maintenance and everything as easy as possible, without any room for errors. So also you can see this GPU bracket here. On every case you have it. So really the PCB is not at any sort of stress. So maybe since you're here, you can show us how to change one GPU.
You think I will handle?
Yes, I think you will. He's not really experienced user, so
okay.
Maybe he'll be the correct example.
So I can try actually.
You can try. Basically, the system is filled, so you will also see there's.
So there's water inside, and
correct,
I can just try and swap.
That's what we want. The biggest, I would say, value add using the quick disconnects couplings, and is that one, of course, upgradability. The second one, the second also important thing is basically when you have a full liquid cooled system. And there is basically some sort of, I would say, events that are caused by GPU failures. And it can happen, of course it can. And if you have a full custom loop system together, you have to drain the system, you have to do everything with it. It's really hard, you cannot do it yourself. For instance, you have 7 GPUs, or there you have 4 GPUs inside, one GPU dies, system cannot work properly, you just switch it off, just unplug the quick disconnects inside, unplug the power supply, take it out, zero spill, switch it on, you're back on track with one less GPU, but of course you're back on track. Okay. Or if you already have the replacement GPU, just replace it and start it off. So that's we want to make it really, really easy for the customer.
Yeah, okay, so I'll really try to swap this so we can show to the customers. It's really easy. So I'll pop out the top GPU. So first, of course, is the screw here. Let me put it out. And it's the power supply here.
Of course, what we recommend, we cannot talk about hot swapping. So because it's not because of the cooling system, but because of the computer itself, it's not recommended to pull it out when it is on power. So definitely you have to switch off the machine. Okay, you did it, and you didn't break anything.
So it's right here.
I can take it, and you can give it.
Yeah,
So this is the way I will just, while Jaka is doing the change, so this is the way you will get the either replacing GPU or maybe on GPU, I would say, GPU for upgrading when you want to order it separately. We will do the pre-assembly, we will do the pre-filling, everything we like you see it here. So no brainer to change it, and but you still have the warranty of it, so no worries, you don't have to worry about anything at all. So it's like you will do air-cooled GPU inside in the completely liquid-cooled system.
I think I have some problems here with the screw, but it's just my stiff fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm not really experienced with that. But it's not a problem at all.
You can leave it, just connect to the system. You'll see it's not
I popped it right there.
Yeah.
Here is the power supply.
yeah, it's a different GPU.
It's a different GPU.
So yeah, the power supply is in the back right here. So I'll just
connect it, and that's it.
Here you go.
Okay, so I can see this was meant for a different case. It's different GPU.
Yeah, it's a little bit short right here, but
it has shorter tubes.
I think, Jaka, you can do what you can do now. Okay, at least now they see that you are not prepared. I would say we're not training you before, but you can put this one back. Or anyway, you can leave it like it is, it's okay. But you can connect it back or use this one, it's okay.
It's okay, I'll just leave it here. So
basically, like I show it here, you just do it, take it out, no spill whatsoever, plug it in, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So that's when we're talking about the portfolio itself, I wasn't talking about the configuration for the 7000 series. You have the the starting point will be RTX 8000, and we have GV100. So basically, currently the best performing the highest tier of the GPU from NVIDIA for the desktop computers. So that's basically, additionally with the 7000 series, it's not just the configuration itself. Of course, it's the main goal. If you look at this machine here, basically you're bringing the server-grade server performance to the desktop level. And we're also offering you see it from the front, it's the rack for the SSDs, so you have the external rack. We'll be offering the possibility of DVD because it's also an option, also a still desirable thing, especially in some movie editing or rendering. So it's really up to customer. They can have whatever they need.
Okay. There's actually one question right here about the components of the water cooling. So what pump is actually running these monsters here, and how many radiators is there inside?
Okay, if we take this case, the highest tier one, the heavyweight champion, there are two 480 radiators on the top. There's a possibility also to have separate loops because we have two radiators and possibility of having two pumps per loop. Basically, inside are D5 pumps, which are really proven to be reliable and powerful enough. So this case, if you look at it, it's really nice and tidy because it was specially made for liquid cooling. You have the manifold on which you can plug in the QDCs. The manifold is just one, and it enables to switching between one and two separate loops. So, yeah, this is the reservoir. If you see, there are two such reservoirs inside. So you can see fluid level. So maybe if user doesn't trust us or something, or he can check the fluid level and report us that he has a problem, if any. So all the materials are really chosen carefully. Also the pumps are connected in parallel, so they give maximum flow and optimal pressure. Everything was tested in laboratory. The pressure drops, characteristics of the whole system, and we've chosen how many pumps you need for single loop, looking at the restriction you have. So all the conditions inside are optimal.
That's very good. So everything here has been thought.
Yeah,
really
one important thing that also we can mention is that you can also see on this kind of motherboards, it's not some motherboard, not gaming motherboard. Basically, this is the server motherboard, and I can just say a few details about this motherboard in particular. It has the all 7 PCIe slots with bandwidth of times 16 and in Gen 4. So basically, this is the highest possible currently, and currently
currently it's the only
motherboard that's already it's offering this, and combining with the Apex CPU that you can utilize each GPU into maximum. It's really, I would say. And one thing, all these servers, the challenge that we have, all these server motherboards are basically without any additional USB because they're not meant to be on the desktop. So we are also we will share these details in the next month. There are additional developed I would say boards which will enable on the front you will have the USBs with power, so not just so you'll be able to use it as a power. Not just as it's not just splitted, so everything will be there. Inside we'll also have the connectors separate from the internal of the chassis itself. So if you have some dongles for software, you are worried that somebody will use all the software that now have USB dongles, so like a key, and you can just have it inside the chassis, so it's not gets maybe borrowed, and that's I would say, and also together also I cannot disclose now, but there is one board special inside developed. It's just currently in the prototype that will do a lot of things also independently on the operating system. So stay tuned for maybe next month.
Okay, so can you maybe tell a little bit more about the SSD slots?
Yeah.
So, like how many can you fit there, everything, so all the details about
I would say the SSD slots are really hot swappable. I can take one out, it's not a big deal. I just need to, so, okay, we just take like this, so basically it's a standard SSD, so it's, we will have 8 of them inside, so you can load it in. The main this is basically from the servers. You have it, usually you see these kind of things in servers. And when you, the advantage of this is you don't need any kind of, it can be really a standalone machine. And if you're you're coming, more of you guys are using the same machine, you can come with your own SSD. You don't have to have it in the system, even though in the system we have the M.2 memory, so it's not that for the system you need this, it's just for the working files that you either render, you need a lot of space, you just bring the big SSD or 2 or 3, whatever you need, and then when you go, you just take it out, and that's it. So it's an 8. Currently, we are planning to have the space we have for 8, and it will come completely equipped with 8 empty slots. So you can do, you can add your own SSD or whatever size you like and speed you like. So that's the. And instead of this, you will be able to also choose either DVD if you prefer DVD. So it's up to the customer to decide what. Okay.
So talking about the components inside this. Can you tell a little bit about QDCs? So QDCs are actually quite a crucial part here, because if you want to hot swap it, you plug it out and there might be some doubts about water leaking and everything. So how did we choose which QDCs to put inside?
Yeah, it was, I would say, first thing, definitely we didn't want to gamble. And this is the crucial part, and also a part that adds value to the system. Without it, you cannot either do expandable, either you're basically locked. Whatever you buy, you are basically with it, married with it as long as you use it. And the main goal with us was, okay, first, low pressure drop, of course, and I would say, of course, 0 spill. And we wanted to go with the manufacturer that basically that do their job properly. So basically, it was no-brainer for us, and we worked with CPC before. And I must say, again, Rok mentioned before, CPC and I would say European distributor Promatec, basically they made it happen. And even though that this is exactly, you can still, it's still hot, so fresh it is, so it's not available. I would say it was really hard, and really happy guys. I'm happy that basically CPC and Promatec came towards and made it happen on time, because you know when you design a manifold and you have to have counterpart. So with which you start, you have to go on. And that was the main, I would say, crucial point. And it was no bottlenecks, nothing. We get it on time. We tested, they perform perfectly. They look nice. And also, I would say, even though when you say it's plastic, it's really, when you hold it, it's really, you see it's a professional thing. It's light. And one important thing also for, we'll be offering also these QDCs when we get on track with the supply and everything, when we'll be offering them also in our Pro Series. And it's really a good thing because it's a composite. You can mix it with the either in aluminum, either in copper, whichever look you want. And that's the advantage of it. And I must say that QDCs are...
Yeah, we had quite of a challenge to find the proper ones, because first is the material compatibility, and this is really all around compatible, which is exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, so basically really it was no-brainer. When we have seen them, that's it, that's what we want. It was no discussion. That's what we go
with, So every part here is actually, like we mentioned many times, really thought out, so that you get the best. You get the best. So
also, what I said, what I was talking about, one part is the cooling part that's well thought of. Of course, this is what we know the best. And based on the experience also when testing, like Rok said, we made a lot of prototype workstations, testing, invested a lot of money. You all know that it's not all this, I would say, professional GPUs, professional hardware is not cheap. So it's a lot of money inside, but you have to do it in order to find the proper way. But of course, like I'm telling, with Xenowolf, partnership with Xenowolf, basically, we really come together to a perfect combinations of, I would say, configuration of the hardware and which one to use. So it's really tailored. So you can, it's really well chosen. So you get, it's really balanced what everything inside. So no, we can even go even, let's say you can even go even higher with the CPU, but it's currently everything is perfect equilibrium.
Yeah, we will be offering 18 different basic configurations, I think, and then each one can be expanded except for 3000 series. So if you don't find a workstation for yourself,
you will not find it anywhere.
probably.
And one thing also, when new generation of GPUs arrive, now we are just before the third generation of the RTX 3000 series. Definitely immediately they will be available in the professional as well, and we are able to we will be offering also when the availability of GPUs, when new GPUs arrive, immediately R&D guys will develop water blocks for it, and we'll be offering. So we are listening to you guys. So also the configuration now we will launch the configuration that's now set. We will be listening to the requirements, to the feedbacks, and we'll be even
modifying.
Not something that we are locked with this. We are flexible to adapt to the market.
Okay, so maybe let's touch another very important topic, for example, for enterprises and professional users, warranty. What kind of warranty does a buyer of this big and probably not so quite expensive machine get? So what will we offer besides that?
Basically, currently, of course, warranty is important. Warranty, of course, and connected with warranty is also support. So yeah, definitely. Initially, you will have, of course, one year warranty. That's normal, with possibility to prolong it to 3 years. We are currently talking about 3 years. So you're able to prolong with a little additional, with some additional costs, so you don't have to worry about it. So about the support, it comes together with the support, of course, and support. You are well. EK is well known with the really good support, and of course this will be the same thing even on the next level, especially with the colleagues from US. So we'll be covering really big field, I would say, big areas with the support. Also possible of the service engineer to visit, to come to your place to do the even maintenance or to do some help on site. So we will also, during this next month, before launch, like I mentioned, this will be launched in September. So we'll be releasing more and more. All these details will be released more and more. So when we launch, we have everything ready. Also, you will know everything that you.
Yeah. So actually, warranty is really important here.
Definitely.
We will take care of that.
Even though that everything is being tested, that some things can happen, of course. But of course, you will never be left alone. But everything is really roughly, really in details tested. So well thought of, and we expect no issues. But of course, can happen. But definitely, EK, even on the next level, will happen here for support.
So I think that now we've covered a lot of things about the product itself, and there's a lot of things that we will offer and will be offering with this FluidWorks. Now we have to touch a topic that's probably at the end the most important, which is actually a price range. So if you want to utilize all this power from the hardware and everything, what are the prices?
Yeah, basically, of course, when you look at the machine like this, you see, wow, this is really something. But if you know what is inside, you understand where the cost from. But yeah, of course, if you're talking about the Series 3000, the starting point is just under $5,000, and then it goes it goes depending on the configuration. So I would say the configuration that's the most expensive configuration in the 3000 series will be just under 10K. Then we move to the 5000 series. We are basically the starting point is just around 10K, and it goes up to 30 when you have the highest amount of GPUs inside, and basically when you go to RTX 8000. And when you go to the, or just I think under 40, something like that.
Yes.
I'm just, it will be
38.
still, it's 38, something like that, in the highest configuration. When you're talking about this, when you have, GPU counts up to 7 GPUs, and, CPUs is also, the starting point is around about 30K starting point, but this particular one will be around about $80,000. Which is basically when you say that you have 7 times V100 inside, everybody can look what is the retail price of the V100 GPUs together with the high-performing EPIC CPU. Motherboard, everything together, yeah, it comes, basically you're bringing a server to the desktop. But like I say, you are not able to, you can start with 2, so that will definitely drop down to, I would say, 35, and you're at GPU by GPU, maybe each 6 months.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and of course, like I say, VIP service, when you go for this level of workstation, talking about 7000 series, this VIP service will be also communicated in the next months, but you will know that why you spend that much money for the also support-wise and everything. So yeah, this is like you will be Mercedes-Benz and Maybach.
Exactly. So what about let's say maybe about production?
Yeah.
Production location, where is it based? And did we have to change something during the process of the production and everything? Because of course we produced water cooling parts in the past a lot of years. But what about now? What actually changes we had to do during the production process, quality and so on? Because this is something that really takes a lot of time to not just to assemble, but also to take care of all of the details during the quality check and everything. So
basically, of course, yeah, all liquid cooling parts are basically on the quality level, a quality check that basically all the liquid cooling parts are manufactured in Slovenia, basically in headquarters, tested. So on the EK level, so that's one thing. When we basically the assembly itself will be in the US. So especially first machines will be definitely assembled at our partner Zinowolf, and then we move it. We have manufacturing location for the fluid gaming series we have in our headquarters in San Antonio. So there we're already preparing the manufacturing line for this as well. So all the ramp up of everything, then when it ramps up, we will have everything in San Antonio. Regarding the quality, of course, traceability, so we are able to trace to the basically close to the atom of aluminum composite. So we will be also all the components, cooling components, all the components we use. When we have the customer that's purchasing it, we will know exactly whenever you will reach out to us, or whenever something will be wrong. Basically, we will be able to trace to the littlest detail of all the components used in so that will be definitely different than we are doing now in all this really detailed traceability.
yeah, so that was about the production itself. Maybe Rok, one question: what about the process of development and design, for example? Was it any different from previous, let's say, custom loop blocks and everything? Because you've worked you're working in EK for a long time now, and you've developed from custom loop blocks and everything, and now you're a part of the enterprise team. How was it different for you, maybe, in this stage?
First thought, no RGB, so that's, that's great. Second challenging thing was switching from metric to imperial system or mixing it with guys from USA. We had quite some discussions which standard to choose and everything. So now we teamed up and settled that down. But if we look at, let's say, water blocks, can you hand it to me?
Of course.
So basically this is, it has reliability written all over it. It's thicker base with aluminum top, countersunk screws, stainless steel screws, and new type of gasket, which I think I cannot say now. But so basically this is pro lineup water block put inside workstation. Another thing is reservoir. You can see the same You can see the same materials here, the same colors, the same principle of assembly and stuff like that. So we tried to unify as much things as possible because we found a really good way how to make things as reliable as possible, and we try to stick to it.
One thing important also is you can see that we are not using any compression fittings at all. So basically, we use barb. We use the really, this is basically automotive hose clamp. It's really holds together. You cannot pull it off. You can see even though this card is filled, everything is. We can see it. No, we didn't want to no compromises. Yeah. So you know that compression fits can, and the deviation of the thickness, especially the empty tubes, can happen that you can pull the tube out when you move it around. So no compromises. So that's the thing that's also important in this. We didn't want to use anything else than the barbs.
And also thicker base allow to make sealing better on the water block, so you cannot shift it anywhere. It's really solid, and even the feel is really good.
And in the end, it doesn't do any damage at all to the GPUs. It only makes it work better at the end.
Definitely more stable.
Okay, what about, let's touch a little bit competition maybe. Do you have any benchmarks or any competitors on the market so we can compare already those products too?
Yeah, of course, because we have, the market is really, I would say, a lot of competitive. Basically, there's a lot of system builders that are putting the custom components together and building workstations. We didn't want to go that way. So basically, when you're talking about the competition, I think on the market currently, competition, I can tell you openly, it's on the level of our 5000 series. When you 5000 series comparing the components and everything. But based on the fact that this is purposely developed liquid cooling, it's not custom loop, it's on the one step higher. But this one is basically competing with the server rack. So I cannot say it has a competition at all at this point. So that was also the goal. So we didn't want to have we wanted to make a next step, and getting the right components inside really the new motherboards that are capable of doing this, that what we want, putting everything together. And regarding the benchmark, you're asking about benchmark themselves. Benchmark will follow. So just after the EXPO, we will start the complete testing, benchmarking. So we'll be publishing numbers. Also, some live videos might happen of the testing. So there is nobody can say that we hide something, we did something. So we made it up. So we will show some really interesting stuff. Teasers, yeah.
We stress tested one assembled case, and a guy, not from EK, stepped inside and said, "Is this machine even running?" So the noise here is also a factor that we must mention, and the expandability. I think our, let's say, competition doesn't offer.
Nobody offers the expandability.
Not to that stage.
Not to that stage. Yeah.
So we can actually easily say that we will have the best workstations on the market actually available.
Easily, without doubt.
Okay. Okay, maybe we can touch a little topic about availability, for example. Where will these workstations be available? All around the world? Like, I don't know, I can ask a question. Will this be available in Serbia? I don't know.
Yeah, basically, this will be available in our web shop. We'll start with web shop, so it will be also part of configurator on the web shop, and so you'll be able to choose everything. So you can order it from any country that you want. Of course, also with our partners InnoWolf, so also it will be basically anywhere you reach out, it will come to the same shop at the end. So currently we start with the dear cells, and maybe then we plan maybe in 6 months when everything goes up to come to some, I would say, kind of resellers. We have to, of course, it's not the same reseller for this kind of machines than it's for normal custom loops. So we have to really find the proper one who say that really fits to the purpose of the machines, workstations. and then we'll see. But it definitely we start from our B2C shop. So yeah.
Okay. What about, let's say, maintenance plan, for example? So if someone buys that and actually wants to utilize it the best way, so what will be the maintenance plan for this? What thoughts?
I can say something and then you can continue. Or you will start and I continue. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so basically the only thing you must monitor here is fluid level. If it drops below the, let's say, if you cannot see it anymore in the reservoir, the system will let you know. But that will happen if something is really wrong. Basically, we recommend changing the fluid every 2 years. So, and that's the only thing you must do. And also, you'll have all the support you need to do this. So there's practically no other maintenance except maybe blowing dust of the radiators every once in a while.
Depending on the environment. One thing that we will also we didn't mention before, temperature monitoring. So we'll be monitoring the inputs and outputs of each radiator. So we'll be also seeing the performance of the system. So we see how much heat we dissipate. So we'll be monitoring complete system also temperature-wise. So we'll have everything, all the data. And then I said a little bit about the board that I will not say that will be inside, so we'll have everything.
Yeah, of course.
Thinking about what's going on with the system there.
Okay, so we've touched a lot of topics right now about these systems. I know that we didn't even start to sell them yet, but what about the future plans maybe for those stations? Do we have any plans or thoughts already?
Of course, when you start this kind of, when we parallel to developing the workstation that you see now, and you have to think about the technological vision. You have to have vision where you're going to be. And of course, yeah, we plan to have around about, I would say, by mid-2021, definitely some additional things, not substituting these machines, but parallel to the two workstation that we have, some additional units, which we'll be teasing, but not this year yet. But yeah, we are thinking about it. And of course, we are not talking about it's not about the new generation of GPUs. That's normal. That's not. But yeah, we have the let's say pipeline, a vision for the complete 2021, what we want to achieve. So every 6 months we will have something new that we're already preparing now, but it will be ready maybe in end of Q1. Okay. End of first half of.
And for example, no matter when anyone buys a system, if there will be a new generation of, let's say, a CPU or a GPU, everything will be actually able to swap or to upgrade in any conditions.
I would say GPUs, yes, of course, GPUs, yes. With CPUs, we will see about the, I would say, if we are able to replace the CPU itself, if it fits to the same socket. If it doesn't fit to the same socket, then you have to do something with the motherboard, so that we will not be, we don't want that, let's say, hardware-wise, customer is dealing with it, because, but anyway, of course, we will be anytime able to pull your workstation back and do this change for you. And of course, from the GPU, from the one that we offer, no issues. You just get it and we replace it. But we want to keep a little bit of control also because of traceability. We don't want to that anybody is changed. You can plug in new RAM. We don't. That's not an issue. But when you're dealing with CPU, when you change something in, we want to have control. Not because that we want to, earn more, but just, this is professional system. We have to treat it like professional system.
Exactly. Okay. What about, for example, this is a big project actually, and very important for EK. How big actually is the team at the end, and how spread it is around the world actually developing this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say you're not even aware about the team members that are running, basically because one thing is developing of the workstation itself. So I can say that we have of guys, now 5 of them working constantly on it. You have a lot of things you are doing. Now we are currently, in this, all the specifications, everything, even packaging this, and this has total, when you want to ship this size of the machine to some over the globe, you have to have proper packaging. So it's all these details matter. And then at the end, you want to put everything to the store. There is a digital team that has to work on that as well. So I would say, if I count it, or I would say, without counting the assembly personnel that at the end has to assemble everything, I would say around about more than 50 to 20 people work constantly on it.
Amazing.
From all different fields.
So it's
No, at the beginning it started in a team of 3 or 4, and then this, I would say,
grew.
in months this team expand because there are each month something new has to be added to the when the project evolves.
So actually we have a question right here. Will there be any rack solutions like 1 to 4 units or system with internal radiators including and so on? What do you have to comment on that?
Yeah, basically Rook will also be able to say something more, but yeah, definitely server parallel to the desktop workstation server is also something that we are pursuing hard now. The thing is, I also mentioned it in the first days of Expo. I mentioned that in this kind of business you don't go until you're ready. And now we are really confident we are ready, and definitely 4U units. It's I would say also Rock is now developing something really unique. That we want to bring the density to really, even not 4U, okay, just from the GPU side, we want to bring it really down to make the, like Rock was saying, you have the, I would say the footprint or the cubic print of the server. That's what matters, and to have the density higher. You have, so Rock is doing this, definitely. The server is something that we are working also on.
Right.
Yeah, now we're basically at 4U systems and then narrowing it down because we have limitations. You know, the radiator surface must be large if you stick so much hardware inside small space. So we are proposing a solution for let everything in one 4U unit, and also to have the liquid cooling, let's say pump radiators and stuff like that outside.
Yeah. Actually, there's one of someone that's watching. He actually really likes the idea of the metal distro plate. That's really clean finish. Now he wants to know if this is limited to FluidWorks only.
Yes, for now this is made exactly and just for this case. Thank you for telling us that. I like this design too. So maybe we make something for a pro lineup. You know, you have manifolds, you have QDC sets and stuff like that. So we'll think about it and let you know.
The only thing we will I would say most probably, I also say never say never. Basically, the thing that we are talking about aluminum and copper. So basically, pro lineup is copper series. So we don't want to mix two things. When you have you can buy this and combine it somewhere. So this was intentionally, purposely made. But yeah, I would say the pro lineup, the shape yes, but I would say at this point, brass, copper, I would say brass alloy system things might happen. But for now, this is only for this.
Okay, so talking about the future of the products, like we mentioned before, will we offer in the future anything like electrical cooling?
If we're talking about workstations, probably not quite yet, but we have a certain project. It's in this year, you'll be able to know something more. It's some ambient cooling, and I'm not allowed to tell you more.
Yes, I just wanted to say, try not to control yourself.
Okay. Okay. So now I want just you guys to ask you one honest questions. How do you like participating in a project like that, which is actually first time in the history of EK, and it's a big step. How do you feel with this product line?
Maybe if you can feel basically goosebumps tells everything. But yeah, I would say I'm really proud, and also I must say Rock, I can tell you in front of the world that basically I'm proud to have Rock on the team because, and of course you as guys, thanks a lot for this. We wouldn't make it, we made it as like a team, and to work in this kind of team with all these, different way of thinking, different knowledge, and combining everything together, we really push the limits in this. We worked hard also on the, let's say, I think for, I would say, last 3-4 months, basically, especially, we are from headquarters, and we're working close with guys from US with 9 hours time difference. Everything happens in our late nights. So, but motivation is never demotivated. We work really hard, and now seeing basically this machine, I can tell you openly, this machine basically is also hot because it's so fresh, not because it's overheating. So don't get it wrong. But I would say it's also seeing guys assembling together, everything fit perfectly together, and you see that all the hard work that we did now pays back when you see it, especially next week when we will start pushing it hard. It will even be better and better. I would say I really feel good. I must say I'm really, even though it's exhausting, but you don't feel as exhausted at all because we are getting somewhere. And
Yeah,
I can't wait for the launch, really.
even with this like a straightforward, no design at all, there's still some passion inside.
There is everything about passion.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to be passionate, even if there is no, like I said, no design. I personally like this kind. This is kind of design for me. But I would say that there is a lot of passion. Without passion, you cannot make it. You will do something that's already available, but passion makes the difference.
Okay. So thanks a lot, Sandi. Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
Rok.
Jaka. Pleasure.
I think we'll be finishing right now. Any last words to the world out there?
Yeah, of course. I would say really just be following us. Just follow us. Basically, every month or even more often, we will be sharing more and more, disclosing more and more details about the workstations. Stay tuned with about the launch date. Like I said, it on Tuesday. It's per 1st of September. So that's I would say we will start offering them in our web shop. And then we want to really do the hard launch, this really good launch on the supercomputing in Atlanta in November this year. So yeah, stay tuned, and a lot of things, new things, interesting things will follow in next month.
Thanks very much, Sandi. Thanks a lot for everyone for watching us. Stay tuned for a lot of next topics that we'll cover in the next 2 days. And then when we finish this, our first digital event, the EK-AIO. I hope you liked it. And if you want to know anything more regarding workstation or anything else, contact us, contact our support. And that's it for today.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jaka. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.